to Hispanic Assembly.
Welcome guys, good morning. We're excited for the presentation that our students have put on for you. We've got a good show for you today. Before we get started though, let's learn a little bit more about Senora Taylor. So, Leonora, what's your Hispanic heritage?
Well, many of you already know. I am from... Yes! How about you, Mr. Simbaña?
I am actually from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and even though it has Mexico in the title, it is part of these United States. So my Hispanic heritage actually comes from my father, who's from the beautiful country of Ecuador.
Awesome!
Let's hear it for your Café con Leche advisors in the middle school. Simbaña y Taylor. So, quick rules. Hush. Shh. I hear you. Quiet. There will be clapping time. There will be fun time. There will be quiet listening time. We can do it. It's quick, it's short, we'll be in and out. I'm Daniel Searle. I do Hispanic student development from pre-first all the way through 12th grade. Excited to be here because of what we have put together for you, and it is the students' plan. So I'm going to invite a couple people to come on up as we learn about Hispanic Heritage Month, about Latinos in the U.S., and about El Español. Chicas, if you will give us a quick little welcome about Café con Leche. What is that?
Hi, I'm Claire, and my family's from Spain. Café con Leche is the Westminster Hispanic and Latino affinity group in the middle school. And anyone who has Hispanic or Latino background, you're welcome to come.
And Café con Leche is both cultural and a color reference, so it fits nicely into the whole package. All right, let's learn about some of the Latino numbers. Claire?
There are 57.5 million Latinos in the United States. That makes up 17% of the population.
Hola, my name is Victoria, and another fact is that there's a record 27.3 million Latinos were eligible to vote in the 2016 election.
Victoria, you don't sound like you're Hispanic. Where's your family from?
Well, my family's from Mexico.
There you go. All right, what else, Claire?
People of Mexican origin account for about 2/3, which is like 35.3 of the Latinos in the United States.
All right, let's hear it for Claire and Victoria. They'll be up for a bit. Ladies. All right. Show of hands without making too much noise. How many of you take Latin? Latin. All right. So, celebrate Harrison. Harrison. What languages come from Latin? All the local Romance languages and? Spanish, thank you. Let's learn more about the Spanish language from this guy with his football jersey.
My name is Rogelio, and my parents are from Mexico. So Spanish is the second most spoken language in the United States. Spanish is spoken by 40 million people in the United States, making it the 13% of the U.S. population speaks it. That's a good reason for you to learn Spanish.
Rogelio, what language are you studying though?
I take French.
Yeah, also a good language, all right? Why? Because you already speak Spanish at home. So keep learning languages. French is cool too. Spanish, you can use it in the U.S. quite a bit. What's next, Rogelio?
Well, one of our 5 team members is from Panama. Can y'all guess who?
Hey, let's hear a quick drum roll for Senora Peña. Let's get it going. All right. We're going to highlight the country of Panama this year. This time there's an assembly. Senora Peña.
I think most of you guys know them, or those who have classes with me or see me, but I am originally from Panama. I was born and raised in Panama. My parents are also both Panamanian. I came to the United States for college when I was 18, and Then I ended up doing my master's, and then I met my husband here in Atlanta at a Panamanian event, and he is also Panamanian, and we're from the same town in Panama. And so we are from a town called Colon, and if we look at our map, where the arrow is pointing to the Panama Canal, if you think of kind of, and there's a lake kind of in there, on the Caribbean coast, on the top of that lake is called Gatun Lake, it's a man-made lake for the canal. That's where I'm from. So I'm from the coast, I grew up on the beach, and also grew up just around the canal, which I will talk about later. But Panama is also considered, and people will say it's a Criol de Razas, so it is a melting pot of different origins or ethnicities. And a lot of people migrated Panama for several reasons, and one being the canal, and or building of the railroad. And so from different families, and people in Panama all look different. I could be standing in here and all of you guys could be Panamanian. And so it's not a certain look, it's just being from that country and having ancestors from somewhere else. My mom's side of my family is French from Martinique, and they immigrated to Panama, and then my dad's side of my family, his grandparents are from Spain. And so that's why when we look at people and we're just wondering, oh, where are you from? Or, oh, you don't look like, it's always not the look, there's a lot of history that's behind every country, but I'm so proud that we're highlighting Panama today. Thank you.
Bravo, and an applause for Senora Peña. Before we all tell them about, what are you wearing today?
Oh, right, this. I blame Miss Taylor because she came to me and asked me to, and I'm sure she knows that I have a pollera or something. This is called a pollera. And if I could wear it. And I told her, absolutely no. I said, I'll put a table here and I'll put it on the table, but I'm not going to wear it. And then last night, at the last minute, I went into my closet and I pulled this out. This is my pollera that I got married in. And so I have not worn it since the day I got married. And so it's been 13 years since I put this on. And so last night I tried it on. I was like, you know what, I'll just put it on. But polleras are handmade. It is made out of 10 yards, the skirt of material. And so I'll pull it out. And so it is all handmade. And so there's lace on the bottom, there's lace in the middle. I picked it up because the most beautiful part also is this other part of this, I'm not sure what it's called in English, but under the skirt you have a slit, thank you. And this is also handmade. And so my aunt is from a region in Panama in which they make polleras. There's a specific region in which all these women gather and they're sitting there and they're making polleras all by hand. It's very expensive because it's all done by hand. So she spent almost a year making this pollera for me for my wedding.
And she looks absolutely stunning. Let's hear it for her. And now Rogelio's going to put Panama in context of the world and the United States for you so we know where we're going.
So where is Panama? Panama is in Central America. It's below Costa Rica and above Colombia.
And you can see the connection to the United States right across the Caribbean there. So bien, Rogelio. Time now to learn some fun facts about Panama. This is not everything, but it's some interesting details. So we've got a new crew stepping up. And if you'll introduce yourself.
Venezuela. Hey Camila, can you tell us some fun facts about it?
Yeah. Baseball is the most popular sport in the country. The US dollar is the official currency, but the national currency is called Balboa.
But Camilla, you mentioned baseball and forgot to mention that this year for our soccer fans, Panama it was the first time ever that Panama made it into the World Cup. And although we didn't perform well, we made it there. So that's also a fun fact.
Panama.
Atlantic and set on the Pacific, all in one day.
Panama is considered one of the best places to retire. The Panama hat is really made in Ecuador.
It's a nice hat, but it comes from Ecuador. And you'll see right now, you have your Panama hat made in Ecuador. You should be wearing that. All right, so some fun facts. Now, the most fun thing of all that we all enjoy, food from Panama. And Rihanna's going to tell you a little bit about that.
And my mom is from Colombia, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the Panamanian food, which is really good. So some Panamanian foods include central paneño, which is this thing, it's like this really thick soup with root vegetables and meat. There is fried yuca, or yuca frita, which is kind of like French fries. Be sure to look out at lunch today. We have that in lunch. We have yuca. Another thing that includes is frijoles con arroz, which is beans and rice, traditional Hispanic type food. And those are some of the foods. You can see there's pictures up there.
All right, and Chef Eric in the cafeteria has prepared a couple of fun, tasty items. Yuca frita sounds kind of weird, but look, it's like the little fries there. Those will be available today. Make sure you try them when you go to lunch. And not yet, it's about 15 minutes out. Let's hear it for Rihanna. Hey, Rihanna. All right, and now we saw the beautiful dress with Miss Reina. We have some more Panamanian flair for you. And we are going to invite Somos Panama to come on out to the stage. And they're going to introduce themselves. And we've got a little traditional dance or two to share in just a moment.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Aisha. I'm from Somos Panama here in Atlanta, Georgia. I manage to dance group as well as a cultural activity group. And I'm very happy that you guys invited us this morning. I'll let you now introduce Liz.
Hello, my name is Liz. Hello, my name is Daniela.
I'm Christian.
All right, well, let me tell you a little bit about our dresses, okay? Because I'm sure you're wondering. So let's get started. Maybe we can start with Christian. Well, with I forgot. Daniela, I'm sorry, I just met her today. Daniela, come right up so we can show the beautiful dress that you're showing. Now, in Panama, there was a lot of influence from the coast where all the slavery was actually brought into the country. They developed their own little culture that wasn't necessarily influenced by the Spaniards. In this particular dress, you can see that they were fairly poor, so they grabbed pieces of different clothes that they owned, and they actually made a big faldón. That's how we call it, faldón. The Congo ladies never wear any shoes because they are at the beach all day. What a great life, right? And obviously what they wear on them is all made either by stones, rocks, flowers, fresh flowers from, any plants around. And that's the Congo pollera. So thank you very much, Daniela, for showing us the Congo pollera. Now here we got actually the luxurious version of the Spaniard influenced pollera. This is the white deluxe pollera. The white deluxe pollera is actually made within a year. It takes a whole year to make it by hand. Every single piece is either knit, sewed together, or stripped, so it takes a long time. This particular dress also was used for all those big dance events where the gentlemen and the ladies of the high class were normally gathering. They would wear at the very minimum 7 of these necklaces. In Panama, these necklaces, normally the jewelry is all made by gold. Also, you can see in her hair, we have tembleques. Show her how the tembleques work. Maybe you can show her. Tembleques are made because they tremble, they shake like that. Those are all fish scale, and also some other particular materials that they use from the sea. They're very shiny. They normally wear 12 pairs in their hair. That's 24 pieces. Very heavy. As well as, again, all the jewelry is made by gold. And of course, all the ladies will want to wear their latest style. So they will wear different colors. Some of them have stamps colors. And again, the cost goes around, I want to say like $2,000 currently in the market. So thank you very much for showing us that. Version here, Christian. Thank you, Christian. He's wearing a montuno for the man. I don't know if you want to just show them, walk around. A montuno is also made by hand. They wear a Panama hat, sombrero. They call it a sombrero pintado, the painted hat, basically. The shoes are called chinelas. They're also made out of leather. And the actual the little pocketbook that you see here is actually for the gentlemen when they went to their dances to keep their cigars. So they will keep their cigars there when they are meeting with fashionable ladies. Thank you very much, Christian.
Let's hear it for the beautiful dresses and all of the fancy work.
I still have one as well, just so you know. For the ones that couldn't afford the high class or the, version, they would make halfway, we call them montuno as well, and they use color tembleques, so it made it a little different. All of those are different between every region in Panama. So, but this is another version, just not the upscale just yet. Okay?
So do you think you could do a little Panamanian traditional dance for us all today?
I could try. I could definitely try. Christian, would you dance with me? Okay.
Exactly, 13, and most of the crowd here is 13. Christian, tell us about dancing and helping Mom continue the tradition, your Panamanian traditions. You're from here, but you're learning and keeping it going. Is it fun? Is it hard? Is it embarrassing?
It's really fun to continue dances from Panama, and it's really inspiring. And I want to show my siblings and cousins all the dances that I do, and stuff like that.
Let's hear it for Christian. Let's get a little walk through, show off the dresses and your outfits to all three sections, and we've got the walk-off music going here from Senor Simbania as they walk through. Check out the dresses and those reading. Bravo! And now some more information about Panama. We've got two new faces from Café con Leche coming up to join you. The Panama Canal, so important. Who are you? And tell us about it.
I'm Ella. The Panama Canal was built in 1903 and it was finished in 1914. And the Panama Canal is an artificial 82 kilometer.
It's an 82 kilometer waterway, and here's a picture.
Check out the size of those ships coming through. And Jenny, why is it important? Why is this canal so important to the United States? We don't think we've got the slide, but tell us a little bit about it.
Hi, my name is Jenny. My mom is from Colombia, and the Panama Canal is very important to the U.S. because it cuts off 2/3 of the regular route without it. And it's overall just a quicker and safer way as opposed to going all the way down, as you can see, to Argentina and then back up.
The neat thing about the Panama Canal is my uncle was a pilot for the canal, so you think that these ships all have pilots and they're the ones who pilot through the canal, and that's incorrect. When they get to the Panama Canal, they have to run the control over to the Panama Canal pilots. And these pilots have been training for years to become a pilot for the Panama Canal. And so my uncle started being a tugboat captain. And so the tugboats are the ones that bring the ships close to the locks of the canal. And then we have mules, not literally mules, but that pull then the ship through, and then the Panamanian pilot comes aboard and pilots the ship through, and it takes the entire day to go, whether you're going from the Caribbean Sea to the Pacific or vice versa. And so my sister and I grew up on the tugboats with my uncle and kind of seeing the Panama Canal and sometimes taking it for granted. It wasn't until I was older and in the States and I went back home and I was like, oh, let me just go through the canal, you know, on a tour. And it's really amazing that this was done in 1903 and they're still using the same the lock system and doors that they did when it was built. So you go into a lock, and then it either, depending on what side of you're going, east to west or from Pacific to Atlantic or Atlantic to Pacific, you either, there's water that is released from that chamber, and then you're opened up to the next lock, and then you release and release and release until you're at that level. Or if you're coming the opposite way, you come into the chamber and it's filled with water that brings the ship up. You go into another chamber, it's filled with a little bit more water until you're at that level. So it's really an amazing thing.
An amazing thing, the Panama Canal from Panama. Gracias, chicas. Let's hear it for the canal and for the chicas. All right. Now time to learn a little bit about some famous Panamanians whose name is not Biel Cabena. So, Rian, tell us some more. Just some highlights, please.
Alright, so some cool famous people that come from Panama would include Ruben Blades, which is he's a singer and actor. Roberto Duran, that's a champion boxer. And John McCain was actually born in the Panama Canal. So he's not actually Panamanian, but he was born in that area. And there's one more, and let's watch this video.
Camargo's hit for two. It's the day double for Atlanta.
Very enjoyable for me, but it was just, I mean, playing turn field, I've loved turn field. I just think the last thing of that.
Camargo's headed for second. And will be at second and third with one out. And he shoots one through. Freeman scores. Marquez will be stopped at third. Cunningham, most part, shut him down. A little line. It is shallow right center field. Camargo's going to have a 4-hit game. Everything's falling for Johan tonight. Good for him.
Johan Camargo in the Atlanta Braves. Camargo is from Panama. And one of our resident baseball experts and chant leaders is going to join you with a quick Braves update, but he's wearing a Mexico shirt. Tell us more, Mr. Mackey.
Yes, I'm wearing the jersey of El Tri, the national team of Mexico, the national soccer team. My wife is from Mexico, so we cheer for Mexico in soccer, unless they're playing the U.S., and I'm not cheering for the U.S., but I'm the only one in my household who does. But the Atlanta Braves are currently in first place. They could clinch the division this weekend if they beat Philadelphia 2 more times. And Johan Camargo is a pretty important part of that. He had the tying RBI last night and the go-ahead run in the game last night. So if you remember last year, we did the ATL chant. So this year, we'll do a little Braves chant. So everybody get your tomahawks up. Keep trying to do that. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Which is Liz and Antonio, who were just here, spent yesterday at the Braves celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month and sharing their Mexican heritage and culture. The Braves, Los Bravos, doing a great job of connecting across cultures. We love the Braves for it. And now, some more famous Panamanians. We are going to invite up a couple of your favorite lower school stars.
Morning, how's everyone doing? I guess I should say I'm doing well, thank you. I guess I should say buenos dias y bienvenidos. My name is Whit McKnight and I'm head of the lower school. Most of you know that, but what you didn't know is that I am half Panamanian. And so, if we can go to the next slide really quickly. So, I sent a phone call in to my parents and I was like, can you send me some pictures from Panama? And they were like, absolutely. And I would just say that technology is not their preference. And so when I called my mom this morning, I'm like, I didn't receive the pictures. She was like, oh, I sent them in the mail. So I put together a really quick slide just to kind of give you a brief history. So up on top you see the Panama Canal, which we've heard a lot about. And the reason why I put a picture of that up there is because my grandfather, Rodolfo Beckless, moved to Panama at age 16 to work on the Panama Canal. 2 years later, he met my grandmother, Evelina Griffith. They fell in love. And they had 7 children, and the 3rd child that they had was my mom, Elvia Graciela. And they live in Las Cumbres, which is right above Panama City, right below Colón. And later on, my mom moved to Brooklyn, New York, and had me. And growing up, I would say that there was a lot of Panamanian influence in my household. And so one of the things that I would see all around my house is Mola artwork. And Mola comes from the Guna people who are indigenous to Panama. And it's said that Guna women had sort of geometric shapes that were painted along their body as decoration, and that's the influence for Mola artwork. Earlier you heard about Panamanian foods. One of the foods that you didn't hear about, which is my favorite, is called carimañola. Can everybody say that? Carimañola? Not bad. You gotta roll your R's a little bit better. So, very nice. So as you can see, carimañola is made out of yuca, and so essentially it's a yuca patty stuffed with meat in the middle, and that was one of my favorite snacks growing up. So earlier you heard Ms. Reina talk about her pollera, and one of the things that the gentleman used to wear is called like a parabrisa. And I remember growing up, whenever I would go to Washington, D.C. to visit family, there was this huge Panamanian Day parade, and they would have these floats. And I remember my aunt, my tia telling me, oh, you're going to be in the parade this year. And so I had this picture that I really wanted to show today of me as a young man in my Pana Visa with Miss Panama at the time in her pollera, and we were so handsome and beautiful. I think we won an award. No surprise there. But yeah, that's a little bit about me and my Panamanian culture. I'm proud to be Panamanian. I'm half Panamanian and half Jamaican. My dad's from Jamaica. And interestingly enough, my grandmother's mother is originally from Jamaica as well. So they have moved to Panama also. So a lot of Jamaican and Panamanian connections. But I want to take this opportunity to introduce you to a great colleague of mine and my fellow Panamanian sister, Ms. Camille May.
Yes, I am Panamanian. Both of my parents were born and raised in Panama. My dad was actually raised on the Panama Canal Zone, so he learned English and Spanish simultaneously. So his English was actually stronger than my mom's. This is my cousin. Her name is Janelle. She still lives in Panama. She's the director of the Cultural Institute down there, and she's also a singer and an actress, and she does novellas, which are like soap operas, also in Panama. This is me at one of the locks, the Miradores in Panama, that is along the Panama Canal. This is mi abuelita, that's my grandmother in the red, and my great aunt that's sitting next to her. She still lives in Panama, so we have great reasons to visit every so often. She'll be 90 next year, so we have a big celebration coming up. This is me standing in Casco Viejo, which is kind of like the old town of Panama. And if you probably can't look at the picture, but if you look through kind of the broken out windows, you can see just how much industrialized parts of downtown Panama City there are. It's an amazing place, a beautiful place. I recommend everybody to go visit.
Bravo, let's hear it for our lower school Panamanian cadets. We are wrapping things up, but before we go, two quick things. Why do you think we have Miss Reina dancing in her beautiful dress? We've got Mr. McKnight this May coming down from the lower school. We've got Camargo up on the screen. Panama connects to all of us almost every day and we don't even realize it. Make sure you check at lunch. Would you like to say a couple of words of despedida, Señorita Reina, as we ask one last thing of the crowd? If you have any Latino or Hispanic heritage, direct one generation or 4 generations out, if you would please stand. If you have any Hispanic heritage, go ahead and stand up. Mr. Panama. All right, Zeke. All right, bro. Let's see it. Everybody stand up. Let's give your Latinos in the middle school a round of applause.
Thank you guys. Thank you for listening and for hopefully you enjoyed some facts about Panama and then now seeing familiar faces of those of us who are Panamanian. Thank you. And 8th grade, you're going to class. 6 and 7 as well.